How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about GGPI. Like I spoke about in my previous video, we know they're going to be running an ad for the Super Bowl, but we saw on the Friday it has been gaining some steam. And it was one of the few stocks that I had on my list that was actually green in the tech sector. We'll talk about it further in this video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to go on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for GGPI. Let's see how it performed on Friday. So it ended up closing at $11.25, being up 0.45%. On the low, it tested $11.02, and then on the high, testing $11.67. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 4.959 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 2.929 million shares. So we did have above average volume on the day. That's why we saw some strength in this stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, we can see from the RSI down below, it is at 58.22. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are above the 21-day EMA, and we're also above the 50-day. So we can see we've been on quite a strong uptrend, seeing higher lows for the past 3 trading days. And another thing that I want to bring to your attention, we ended up seeing a high on the Friday at $11.67. So going in for this coming week, I want to see us break through this area and make that move to $12. We know this is going to be a psychological area. There could be a lot of profit taking, but if we're able to actually get past 12 and we can get to 12.50, that's where I'm going to be looking forward to seeing that breakout to see if we can get to $13 plus. Now, as far as for the bearish case scenario, since we do have a lot of volatilities happening inside of the market, if we pull back, I want to see us hold up at least $11. As far as for the low on the Friday, we did test $11.02. So that's why I say this is very achievable. And if we do decide to consolidate in this area, that is not a bad thing either, because I could still see us getting ready for the next move up as we see more buying coming into the tech sector. So this is why you want to keep this play on your radar. But for the most part, things are definitely looking good for GGPI. And this is why I was saying before previously, if you can get an entry below $11, that is not too bad. And we were able to even get in at the low 10s. Remember, this is a SPAC and the floor price is at $10. Let's enjoy this uptrend and let's see where the stock goes. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for GGPI. As we scroll down further on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So we're going to be taking a look at the most notable filings here. So we see we have Gabelli Funds LLC that purchased 68,200 shares, and we also have Exodus Point Capital Management that purchased 450,000 shares. We also have Sana Asset Management that went in with calls with a value of 270,000 shares, and we also have Yapon Capital Management LP that purchased 157,621 shares. We have Marathon Trading Investment Management LLC that purchased 125,200 shares. We also have the Healthcare of Ontario Pension Plan Trust Fund that purchased 512,360 shares. We also have DCM Advisors LLC that purchased 28,000 shares. We also have Bank of Montreal that purchased 242,900 shares. We also have Gerber Kawasaki Wealth and Investment Management that purchased 270,674 shares. And we go down further, we have Gabelli & Co. Investment Investment Advisors Inc. that purchased 61,700 shares. And another thing that I want to bring to your attention, we could see institutions have been loading up as late. As you can see, they started back in December and has been continuous from December to January to February to 22nd, and they're continuing to load up even though the stock price has pulled back. So again, this is great for all of my investors out there. So now when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 41.19%, and then for the dark pool short volume, it is just over 1.08 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 1.8 million, updated 13 minutes ago, and then for the short ball-free rate, it is at 3.15%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, you can see for the close of the 10th, it was at 35.35, and then for the close of the 11th, which is the Friday that just passed, being at 41.19. So we see more shorts invested in this play, but what this tells us, GGPI does have short squeeze potential. The moment we have above average volume and buying pressure, we can see the stock making moves to the upside. So now let's go into the order flow distribution.
Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for GGPI. So on the inflow, it was 11.83, and then on the outflow, it is at 11.15. So it was an inflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown on the large, it was 0.43. On the medium, it was 9.14, and then on the small, it was 2.26. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large, it was 0. On the medium, it was 8.67, and then on the small, it was 2.48. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for February the 11th, we ended up having that inflow of 427.19, and on the 10th, we had 470.22. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tends to represent the retail side, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 4.96%. So yes, this is up there, but one thing we have to be aware of, this is a SPAC. Plus on top of that, this is a stock that has been seeing above average trading volume. I want to see a continuation of this going into Monday because I feel it can make things very interesting since the Super Bowl is today, and I want to see how much attention they may grab from it. But I'll talk about it more inside of the final thoughts. Let's get into the details right now. So for my final thoughts for GGPI in regards to the price action, I want to see us make that move to $12. And once we get to $12, getting above $12.50, I feel we can start seeing a breakout to where the stock can start getting to around $13. If we end up having some weakness inside of the market, we know there's a lot of things that are happening. We have talks about a potential war between Russia and the Ukraine. We also have concerns in regards to inflation and as well as interest rate hikes, figuring out how much they actually want to raise it by. And on top of that, we have the 10-year treasury yield that is spiked well over 2%, which can have an impact on growth stocks, and GGPI is affected by this since it does trade in the tech sector. So this is why I say, and why I was mentioning it, we do know since it is a SPAC, the floor is at $10. So we know there's not a lot of risk here, but if it does decide to pull back, I'm looking for us to at least hold up $11. And if we break under $11, you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to load the boat. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, it actually does have short squeeze potential. And we also see institutions have been loading up on shares as well. And another point I want to bring up, when we were taking a look at the order flow distribution, we saw institutions were loading up while retail was selling out since the stock is pulling back. This is a constant theme that happens inside of the markets. But if you are watching my videos, you'll be able to see where the big money is going and where you could say, well, you know what, this might be a good idea for me to get in with an entry. And that's why I was saying when it pulled back going into the $10 range or just being below $11, it did provide some opportunities. So this is why you want to pay attention while you are watching. This is not financial advice. I want to make sure I'm clear about that, but I just feel like you need to be well informed before making an investment decision. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see how the stock performs for this coming week. We'll talk soon.